Get ready for what's probably the greatest entertainment news talk show out of Austin, Texas. Get ready for everything entertainment news and talk. And now, here's your host, Clint Baker. Hey, what's up, gang? It's Clint. I am back with another episode of Everything Entertainment News coming to you from Austin, Texas. And what do we do here at Entertainment News? We bring you entertainment. That's right. Before I jump into all the good stuff, here's what I need to do. Guys, do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up if you can. And if you're enjoying this show, subscribe to the channel. If you hit that notification bell, we'll send you a reminder whenever we go on live or whenever we have a new video out. If you want to help support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/ClintLikesEverything. If you can't remember that, there's a link in the description. And lastly, if there's something you want us to talk about on the show, message me on social media. I'm the OG Clint Baker on all my socials, but you can find all this information in the description for this video. Anyway, let's get to it. Yes, sir. Here we are. We got the whole gang. Curtis in the house. CB3, what's happening? What is happening?
Hey. Happy Friday.
Yeah. Yes, and Cameron, how you doing, man? You're back.
I'm back. I'm very well. It's been
Back
a good week.
and bigger than ever.
Ready to talk
Woo!
about everything. It's gonna be a good time. Good time.
This is gonna be. We don't have Derek this week, but in his stead we have Brad Pitt. Let's hear it for Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Woo!
Anybody? Woo!
I love him.
I love Brad Pitt, and I love Brad Pitt.
You could have at least got somebody good looking to replace Derek. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just gonna piss people off.
Let's try it again. Let's hear it for Brad Pitt. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, Derek could not make it, but, we're going to have a good time. With or without him, damn it. And hopefully we see him again next week. We got a hell of a show today, man. We got a whole bunch of different topics. We're going to be talking about Speaking of Brad Pitt, we're going to be talking about Brad Pitt. We're going to be talking about Maverick ticket sales. We're going to be talking about Love and Thunder. Kevin Feige's got some clues. Umbrella Academy, Obi-Wan, Miss Marvel, Jon Snow. It just goes on and on and on. So we're going to be talking about a lot of fun stuff. And let's jump right into it, man. Well, first of all, how are you guys doing today? Curtis, how's your day? You just got back into town, right? Yeah, I just saw you yesterday. We went and saw Elvis, and then we filmed an Elvis review, which you should probably see later tonight. Hi, but I asked you how you're doing, and then I just kept talking. How you doing, man?
That's all right. I'm doing great. Glad to be home with the family. I had a 3 or 4 day training in Austin. It was good. I'm glad I got to get up there and hang out with Clint in real life. No green screens, people, which was a blast. But I am glad to be home with these little smelly humans that I call children.
And Cameron, what have you been up to, man?
Man, I had a good week. Everything's been going pretty well. I booked a part in this audition I sent in.
Woo-hoo!
It was super last minute. Just wung it, shot it in like a corner of my room with terrible lighting, and everything worked out, and it was for a devilishly handsome man full of pheromones. So that was a nice little. That is a great boost of confidence.
Absolutely accurate casting right there. That's perfect.
I didn't see it, but someone did, so I'm gonna take it.
Awesome. That's great, man. That's funny. For me, when I go out for a casting call for something, it's like, man who looks like he eats a lot of Hot Pockets, 40 something. Yeah, well, hey, before we jump...
Like, huh?
we were
degenerate dad. Just
me and my buddy were talking about that. Amelia Clark, once she became a superstar, she all of a sudden didn't have to do her own nude scenes, so they would get a body double. And so I was like, and I was having a conversation with a friend. I was like, man, it must be hilarious. And my friend Chris T said this, but I was like, actually, I told him this. It must be hilarious where you're like, yes, looking for blonde, short, blonde but fit woman to be a body double, and I'm like, yeah, what kind of person would they cast for me if I needed a naked body double? And that's where the Hot Pockets came in. So I was recycling an old joke, but yeah, it's hilarious. A man who doesn't get much exercise but eats Hot Pockets and watches a lot of TV, dad bod or father figure.
There was recently a casting in town for a body double for Elizabeth Olsen filming a show Love and Death in town here, and
cool.
I I wanted to submit
You
for
know.
that, but I don't think I really fit the. Yeah.
Just show up with a corset. And
But I wonder now if that's what it was for. If there's going to be some sort of love scene happening there, and Elizabeth Olsen is a little too A-list now to be showing her own boobies.
Yet sometimes you do what you got to do at the beginning, and then once you got a name, you know what I mean. You're like, okay, I don't have to do this anymore. What were you gonna say, Curtis?
No, I was just going to say, you basically, I didn't realize that they did that nowadays. You basically just cracked the case for me when it comes to Chris Pratt scenes with his shirts off. Like, oh, that's how they did it.
He doesn't work out. That's crazy talk. Yeah. Yeah. But Ana de Armas, she doesn't care. She's like, all right, what are we filming? She's like, if you see some of her movies, I'm like, holy crap. Wow. I'm not complaining. But anyway, let's move forward. Now that I'm a dirty old man, let's actually let's talk to the chat really quick, see how they're doing. We got Bobbi in the house. Bobbi, what's up?
Hey, Bobby.
Bobbi. Yeah. A little later, Bobbi, I'm going to be going over to small screen. They're going to actually start before we're done, and I'm not telling you to leave. I like you right here, but they're doing a thing, and I'll be joining them later. And then later tonight, Curtis and I are going to be doing the King versus Queen on our Versus later on, where we do movie battles. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to be doing the new Elvis movie, and at which we were like, well, what about spoilers? We're like, we all know what happened to Elvis. There's no spoilers. So we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about how great that movie was because we both really enjoyed it. Versus another fantastic biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody. And both were fantastic movies. We're going to talk about them later. So be sure you join us later on at 8 o'clock for that. So let's get into the good stuff, guys. What do you say?
Do it.
Yes.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, boy.
All right. Boom. All right. Brad Pitt holds forth on what he calls his last trimester of his career in a thoughtful interview for GQ's August issue. I consider myself on my last leg. The Academy Award winner says in this piece, the last semester or trimester, what is the section going to be? How do I want to design that? Pitt 58, has long been thoughtful about the arc of his career. He called his production banner Plan B, after all. Yeah, so basically, he's getting a little older. He's starting to realize, I can't be a stuntman in Tarantino's movies forever. And he's got his production company called Plan B, which is appropriate for what he's talking about in that interview. I just thought it was interesting. And for one, I think to have the presence of mind of saying, "Hey, man, I'm not going to last forever," and to be pondering his future, I think is interesting. He's 58. He doesn't look 58, man. He's holding it down like Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? But he's done some amazing movies. I started thinking about his body of work, and I mean, since I was in high school, I can't think of one Brad Pitt movie that I saw that I was like, yeah, I don't like that movie. That sucked. Every single thing he's done in his career has been fantastic. And I think that that interview is a testament to that. He plans what he does. He's thoughtful and mindful. Maybe he just had a good agent in the beginning that steered him the right way or whatever. But he's thinking about it, and he's got his production company that's cranked out some pretty good stuff too. He's got World War Z. He's got Kick-Ass. He's got some other great stuff. And I was just thinking, like, I wonder if he's going to be like Clint Eastwood, where he's just cranking out movies till he's 93 years old, like Clint Eastwood's doing, or are we just going to keep seeing him? And I don't know. The whole thing is fascinating to me. I like seeing actors grow, and I like seeing them move into other things. And I just thought, hey, you know what? It'll be fun. I think we all like Brad Pitt. I think it'd be fun to just talk about our favorite Brad Pitt movies for a second, and then also say, hey, what do you guys think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to still stay in the movies, or do you think he's just going to start making movies? Maybe he's getting bored. He wants to try something else. Anyway, for me, I could tell you that True Romance, when he pops in and he's like, don't condescend me, man. I was like, That was the first time I was like, yeah, Brad Pitt's awesome. In Snatch, where he's the pikey, is fantastic. You know, I mean, there are so many movies that he's been in, and I don't want to steal all of them. So I'm going to pass the torch to. I guess I'm going to pass the torch to Curtis. What do you think, man?
I absolutely agree.
Oh, shoot.
He's
What
Brad
just
Pitt. I think
happened there?
he's talking a little early. You know, he might be tired. I think of the scene, but I think he's talking a little early. I mean, he's only 58. You know, Hollywood people either die early or live forever, and he's still got plenty of good movies left in him. But I don't know if I think he wants to do something else right now, like you were saying, because it is kind of early for that. So my favorite movie that he's done is probably Fight Club. I love that movie, but again, you nailed it on the head. Like, he's got the best agent in Hollywood. I don't think I've ever seen him in a bad movie. There, of course, there's some that I like more than others, but I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a bad Brad Pitt movie where I'm like, that sucked, you know. So he needs to keep rolling with it and keep doing what he's doing, and can't wait to see more.
What about you, Cameron? What are you thinking?
I completely agree with both of you guys. I've never seen a bad Brad Pitt movie. Something about the guy, when you watch him, you feel happy. He's just a great actor. I love watching him in roles like something silly like the pikey. You like Dags? You like Dags? That's one of my favorite quotes of all time. And then Inglourious Bastards, Buongiorno. He's hilarious. I'd like to see him maybe make some more comedies. I definitely see him producing a lot more movies. It'd be cool to see him maybe kind of usher in a new generation of filmmakers, because that's something he could definitely do, is maybe work with some smaller indie artists. Like Plan B produced that Beautiful Boy film. Maybe make some more, maybe small art house movies like that. That'd be cool. And maybe get some cameos in him from him that aren't The Vanisher, where he's invisible. But I love Brad Pitt. I want to see him keep going forever. Like Curtis said, they either die young or live forever. And I hope he's one that's like Clint Eastwood, 95, still making movies. Like, how does this guy even walk?
Uh-oh.
Animatronics.
Yeah.
Animatronics, baby.
Hold on, dude. I just had a technical glitch that I got to fix real fast. Oh, this is fun. Look at my green screen, guys. This is embarrassing. It's like I have no
Waving
pants
in the
on.
wind.
It's like I have no pants on. Bam. Now I've got pants on. Oh, that's not even the right thing. What is happening here, ladies and gentlemen? There we go.
And Bobby says, when I was a child, women in the movie industries are washed up at 50 years old. Like, sadly, Bobby, you're right. Like, it has been a double standard. You know, men could be old as hell and then dating like a 30-year-old woman that's playing like 50 or something like that. It hasn't been fair, but it has been, thank goodness, a lot of older women like our wonderful Gina Davis has worked to try and change that and have women portray their age in Hollywood without being pushed under the rug.
How about Michelle Yeoh?
But that's
and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, Jesus, she killed it, and she's got to be over 50. I'm not for certain, but she's older.
Yeah.
She's been around a long time. Hopefully she's helping that little.
You're right, dude.
Too.
She nailed it in that movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once is fantastic. I mean, let's not forget Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is right up there with him, and like, he just put out one of the top grossing movies that was fantastic. I don't know. I think we're going to be seeing Brad Pitt for a while. I think he's just kind of. I think, maybe it hurts getting out of bed sometimes because he's getting older. We all are, but I think he's just being dramatic. Dude who was in Fight Club, come on, man. He's the pikey fighter. We're going to keep seeing Brad Pitt for a long time. And if not, I'm sure he's going to crank out some great movies and do some other things. Troy?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Troy? There's so many greats that he was in.
Have you guys seen the trailer for Bullet Train?
No, I haven't. I've heard
man.
good things. Does it
It
look good?
looks really fun with him and Sandra Bullock. Yeah, I'm definitely going to see that movie, and I already know it's not going to be bad because it's got Brad Pitt in it. So it's going to be a fun
There you
time.
go.
And the trailer is already fun. So
Speaking of people getting tired, I read an article this morning that Sandra Bullock is burnout on acting, and she's going to take a break for a minute. So which is which is wild. But she's been doing it for a long time too. Who, by the way, is stunning. She looks like the girl next door on screen, but I've met her, and in person, she's like stunningly beautiful. It's actually quite miraculous. It's weird. It's weird because people on camera will look one way, and then in real life look a different way. And I've seen a lot of people that on camera. In person, they just look very normal and not attractive. But when you see them in pictures, they're like, wow. And she's the opposite. She's pretty on screen, but in person, like, holy smokes. But anyway, well, let's move on. I gotta fix one thing real quick. I apologize for these technical difficulties. Nope, I'm good. Okay, good. Bam. Let's move on to I started talking about it a little bit, but speaking of old dudes that still got it, boom. Have you seen Top Gun Maverick? Bam. The jet propulsion of Paramount Skydance's Top Gun Maverick continues as the Tom Cruise star has now crossed 900 million global in just 25 days of release. This comes to us from Deadline. Wow, man. How in the world did a 35-year-old IP, a 35-year-old IP make like almost $1 billion, man? Like, what the hell? And I was talking about it in the notes that I sent to the gang, but I'm like, I thought only comic book movies sold tickets. What's going on here? Is it because people are ready to be back in the theater and they just went out for it? Like, what's going on? What do you guys think's going on? We'll start with you, Cameron. What you thinking, man?
I think that nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and that's what's been bringing people back to like Spider-Man. That was a nostalgia movie, also a great movie. But I think that's what's happening. I think people are ready to go back to the movies, though. Just with a lot of movies that are starting to perform well that aren't comic book movies. So hopefully we do see more of that. As much as I love the comic book movies, but I also think that they did well by kind of placating the international audiences and not really naming a specific country of that's the bad guy or the villain, from what I heard. So good on them, you know.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that they didn't name a villain, did they?
Mm-mm.
That's actually smart. That's probably why it's just blowing up everywhere. And I think all of this, I don't think that they're in China or Russia. So they're doing all this. I know Doctor Strange isn't. Doctor Strange has got some crazy numbers too, but that's nuts, man. Did you? How many times have you seen Maverick?
Me, 0. So
you haven't seen it yet.
I still haven't gotten to see it. Nope. No, I hear it's a rush though.
Dude, it's really good. It's how about you, Curtis? You saw it, right?
I have not seen it yet.
What the hell's wrong with you people?
Well, you know what's wrong with me, but like I think that you kind of hit the nail on. People do want to go back to theaters, but I think you kind of hit the nail on the head last week. Whenever you said it, they're reaching a demographic that hadn't really been not only like haven't necessarily gone out in the pandemic era, but at the same time haven't been catered to in a while. You know, like because I mean this, you know, I've seen Top Gun and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say it's like my, you know, demographic, my kind of thing that I'm like excited to see. Like I'll check it out, but there are the people that are seeing it. Like my son's teacher was one of them. She was like, I can't wait to go see Top Gun. He even came home and told us my teacher wants to see Top Gun. You know, and like they haven't been catered to in a while, and this is a movie for them, and it's bringing them out, and they've probably seen it several times. And at the same time, it's a like comic book movies, it's a visual spectacle, you know. And to be honest, besides comic book movies, big studios haven't been, you know, I'll admit that comic book movies in the MonsterVerse, big studios haven't been making like good movies in a while. You know, I'm sure there's exceptions, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, you idiot, you forgot about this." But I'm just saying, like, it's been a lot of the smaller studios that have been knocking it out of the park, in my opinion. And big studios like Paramount and stuff haven't just been making that many good movies, and they're finally going to be like, hey, you know what? If we want to get people in theaters, we actually have to try. We've got to do work and make a good movie, and they are, and it's kind of paying off for them. So hopefully they'll stick with that and not just start pulling a bunch of nostalgia, like Cameron was saying, start pulling a bunch of nostalgia out of their butt to try to get people in theaters, like actually make a good movie and people will go see it.
Yeah, I read the article and I was like, hey, Scorsese, hey, fucking Moonfall guy, look at that. Like this movie, and you're right. This movie, y'all haven't seen it yet. This movie's good. And I can tell
everyone I know has told me that. I'm sorry, but everyone has said that. Yeah.
It's good. I'm in public a lot. I'm around a lot of people. I bartend on the side and I do other things, and I hear people talking about it all around me. Everywhere I go, like I hear people talking about Top Gun, and when was the last time you heard like just people talking about this movie? And it's like people are. I have a theory. I think it's because we had such a lull during the pandemic that movie studios were scared to release their valuable movies. They got scared. Yeah, they're like, we don't want to leave money on the table. If we release this, it's a waste of money. So we got a bunch of mediocre movies. For not all of them. If you were in a movie and it was good, don't get offended. I'm just saying in general, I think we had a lull where we did a lot of streaming at home, and any movies that came out were kind of half-ass. And I think people are surprised that this movie is so good because we had a lull for so long. And it really is. And I was talking to some people and I was like, you could release what I call a shiny movie that's okay, well, for one, it's Top Gun. The last one was amazing, and so at least we're going to get some cool visuals with the cockpit shots and all that, and we've advanced so much with cameras and drones and everything else, so at least we know it's going to look cool. Okay, well, jets, cool camera angles, that's enough for me to show up at all. You know what I mean? But then the unexpected thing happened where there was a good story. There was a tearjerker. Like, I choked up multiple times in this movie. You actually feel things. And for them to put feeling into this super shiny popcorn action fun movie, they didn't even have to do that. They could have just made a fun, like Fast and Furious. I just want to see things zoom around corners. That's all they needed to do, but instead they told a great story. And that's why people are talking about it, because everyone is pleasantly surprised. Everybody said, okay, man, they should have made this remake a long time ago. Let's go check it out. Everyone's expected to be a little bit let down, and it blew everybody's skirts up. Everybody's blown away. So if you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick yet, go check it out in the theater. I want this movie to exceed $1 billion. I want this movie in the $1 billion club. It's past 900 million. Do you guys think it's going to make it?
Oh, easy. Yeah.
You think so?
Absolutely. It's already at 900. I think it's gonna.
It's almost there.
I don't know.
You're a Tom Cruise hater, Curtis. You're a Tom Cruise hater.
I'm gonna go see it now and get it there. So I'll help.
Yeah, I really want it I really want it to make it. I do, and I had another thought about that too. But I completely spaced. So because I was thinking about putting the screen back on that has Tom Cruise holding Thor's hammer just to upset Curtis.
Yep.
But
not worthy.
What I was gonna say is that I think I also think it's worth noting that Paramount wanted to release this on streaming also and do a day and date thing. They were trying to do that, and Tom Cruise was like, "Oh hell no, you're not. You're gonna get your ass sued," and had his lawyers get involved and whatnot. And I think it's funny because now he's like, how you like me now? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Paramount, which is really just a testament to how executives work. You always have one guy that's worried about his numbers and not worried about the rest of the numbers. So he's like, I want credit for making streaming do well. So I need you to do this, and that's exactly why AT&T was so Warner Brothers was so screwed up, because you had so many different people looking out for their own bonuses and credit and whatnot. But anyway, you were about to say
it's a whole nother hour-long show right there, baby.
Exactly.
But No, I was gonna say I hope actually if they've got something where it reaches 1 billion, they'll actually dump it onto streaming. Then in that case, I hope it goes ahead and reaches 1 billion, so I can actually watch it, but not have to go to the theaters. Like so,
Oh, it's
I'll like I'm gonna see it. I'm not like against it by any means. But like I'm probably not gonna see it in theaters. I'll probably check it out afterwards.
Dude, you're a fool. You need to go. You need to go see it in IMAX, dude. Like it is. It's just the sound. It's a spectacle to behold, and you're a smart man. You're not a fool, but you're a fool for not seeing this movie in the theater.
Well, I'm glad that Tom stuck to his guns on that though, because I think it's doing so well because people are seeing it in theaters, and it's a completely different experience. It does sound like that's a movie to really get the full picture in a theater with the sound, probably in IMAX. That visual spectacle, yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder. I'm having some weird technical issues, but now I think I got it licked. But you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. It needs to be seen in the theater, and I'm glad Tom stuck to his guns too. So, with that, let's go to the chat real quick and see what they say. And also, guys at home, what did you think about Top Gun? Do you think it's going to make it to $1 billion? I do. I'm rooting for it. So go Tom. We got that James guy says 1 billion all the way. And he also said, I'm going to go see it in the theater. I can't wait. Yeah, dude, it's fantastic. And see it in IMAX. See it in if you got XD where you got like the wind blowing on you and all those rumbling and I mean, go for it, dude. Go see it. I saw Pacific Rim like that, and it was fun. My chair was rumbling every time they took a
that
step.
would be awesome.
Yeah, but jets, if the thing is like you're flying around, that'd be super cool. All right, let's see here. I almost made the Pacific Rim joke again, but we're gonna save that for later. Okay. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and jump to the next topic now, which is
Might as well jump.
Jump.
Go ahead and jump.
Doop, doop. Boom. First reactions have poured in for Taika Waititi's highly anticipated Thor: Love and Thunder, which had its world premiere June 23rd in Hollywood. According to journalists and critics on social media, those expectations were met. Oh, man. Were they ever? Oh, crap. They were met. Thor: Love and Thunder. Are you guys excited to see this movie?
Yes.
How could you not be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been waiting. You know, Taika Waititi, as far as I'm concerned, can do no wrong. Like, and I've just been waiting to see what happens. What they do in the shadows, just Ragnarok, everything that guy cranks out seems to be awesome. But the guys went in and, or they had their premiere, and several reviewers have left their mark, and we're starting to see this on Instagram and stuff. You know what? I can even do a screen share of this. Boom. Yeah, Simon. This comes to us from Variety, but Simon Thompson, Thor: Love and Thunder is a vivid and brilliant blast that delivers. Helmsworth Thor remains a jewel in Marvel's crown. Bale's gore is a killer boogeyman blended with blending the campy and the creepy. Portman's Foster and Thompson's Valkyrie are top-notch pairing. Crow's Zeus is a chef's kiss. Man, that doesn't get better than that. Christian Bale is phenomenally menacing as Thor: Love and Thunder's villain. Gore the God Butcher is one of the creepiest Marvel villains we've ever seen on screen. Gave me some Dark Knight, Ledger, Joker vibes at one point. Courtney Howard says, Thor: Love and Thunder has an appetite for destruction and laughs. It's totally rad. I like that word. Taika Waititi delivers a subversive, irreverent spectacle. Great story, takes stakes, actually. Great story, stakes, I love stakes and character building. Chris Helmsworth and Natalie Portman, superb. Russell Crowe, Christian Bale slip easily into the world. Like I said, all these. I don't need to read reviews all day to understand that people are loving this movie, which gets me super excited because I was already excited about this movie. Curtis, how are you feeling about Thor?
You know how I'm feeling about Thor. Like I can't wait to see it. Of course, as the rest of the Marvel universe is to some degree floundering a little bit, Thor is going to be the one to save it, as always. It's going to be a great movie. Ragnarok was great. It's probably one of my top 5 Marvel movies. This, people were like asking if this one will be better, and it may very well be. I do really love the relationship between Thor and Hulk in that movie, and I'd like to see more of it. But this movie's gonna be the Kickstarter for the real Phase 4, I think. This is, but I thought that about Doctor Strange, and maybe we don't see the pattern yet, but regardless, I'm super excited about this movie. I'm going to see it opening day or before if I can, and it doesn't surprise me a bit that everyone is so high up on it because it's probably great.
Yeah, man. How do you think this movie? Do you think this movie is gonna do better than Doctor Strange? Doctor Strange has gotten up to $945 million, and nobody's even really said anything. Everybody's high-fiving because Top Gun is getting close to $1 billion. Dude, Doctor Strange is almost $1 billion. It's it's 940. I think last night it was 944 .9. It was almost there. Cameron, what do you think, man? Do you think this is gonna? Well, first of all, do you think this is going to outperform Doctor Strange?
Absolutely.
And are you excited about it?
Absolutely.
And why? And why do you think it'll outperform Doctor Strange?
I think it's going to be a movie that you want to go see twice. Doctor Strange, I haven't even watched it on Disney Plus yet. It's out. You can watch it at your home in that convenience now, but I haven't even bothered to watch it. But with Thor: Love and Thunder, I might go see this 2-3 times in theater. I can already see it because it sounds awesome. I'm really excited to see that this is the first Marvel project where they're incorporating the volume, which is, the next generation green screen where they can just kind of quickly describe it. It's like a high definition LED screen that they use instead of a green screen that's kind of in an augmented reality. So it moves with the camera and provides dynamic lighting. So it looks like they're actually in that environment. And I'm guessing that Olympus scene we see in the trailer is probably an example of the volume where it's just huge and tall and it looks like they're in that environment. So I'm excited to see that. I know Taika's already used that working on The Mandalorian, so I know it's not just something he's trying to work out. He knows what he's doing using it, so I think the visuals are going to be amazing. The vibrancy. I love movies with a cool, vibrant color palette, so I think I'm going to get that, and that has me excited. Christian Bale, I think he's going to be creepy. I think he's going to be one of the coolest villains we've seen in the universe in a long time. So I'm super stoked for that. And I think hopefully there's still some surprises left. I know there's that one shot in the trailer where it's just framed weird. It looks like there's someone missing. So I hope that I hope we get a couple surprises too. And I hope it isn't spoiled. I hope no one spoils the post-credit scenes because I heard those were really fun too, and really people are going to enjoy those. So I'm excited. I'm probably going to see it at least twice in theaters.
I didn't know there was a weird scene that has a missing spot. I wonder who's going to be in that spot. Any guesses, Curtis? Who might pop up that we don't know about?
It seemed like it would have leaked by now, but I still think this is a perfect time to fit Beta Ray Bill in there.
Boom.
Yeah, I think people will wet themselves if Beta Ray shows up.
I will. Promise.
I also wondered if they're going to maybe get Moon Knight or have some Khonshu or have some Egyptian gods since this is a god butcher. You know what I mean? And now,
would bet, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're starting to get, which we'll get into that in a little bit, but we're starting to get into jinns and other things that with Miss Marvel. So it's kind of like the doors opening up into this crazy galactic universal, there's all kinds of weird entities and beings showing up in Marvel these days. So who knows who's going to show up? But this may be an opportunity. And actually, I read an article where Feige talks about there's going to be a couple of clues to what's happening in the MCU in the near future. We're probably going to see something in Thor: Love and Thunder, and they'll probably release some more information in at D23 this year. But here's what we got on that. Hold on here. Boom. As we're nearing the end of Phase 4, I think people will start to see where this saga is going. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige recently told Total Film, I think there have been many clues already that are at least apparent to me of where the whole saga is going, but we'll be a little more direct about that in the up-and-coming months to set a plan. So audiences who want to see the bigger picture can see a tiny, tiny bit more of the roadmap. This comes to us from Deadline, which came to them from Total Film. I think this is some exciting news. I love clues. I want to know where the hell they're going, and the idea that we're gonna find out soon is exciting. Cameron, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think they're going to announce? What do you think they're going to leak into? What are the clues leading up to in your mind?
In my mind, in the last Doctor Strange movie, hearing Reed Richards just say the word incursion was huge. And I don't want to, maybe it's a red herring. It's too obvious. Like, okay, we're going straight to Secret Wars, but I don't know. I think it's going to be an adaptation of Secret Wars, but maybe more centered around Kang. I think Kang's going to be the kind of big bad, but it would be kind of cool to see a Doctor Doom come in somewhere, especially if we're getting the Fantastic Four. But I think that all is going to take a very long time, and as it should. I don't want it, like those terrible Fantastic Four movies they try to make where Doctor Doom just comes out of nowhere. I want him to be a sorcerer, a master of magic, and really, he could be a great character. So I think Kang is going to take up so much that I don't know, maybe they're going to save Doctor Doom for even farther down the line, and he'll be the next big bad. But I don't know. I'd like to hear Curtis's opinions, because I'm still stuck on the whole incursion and Secret Wars, and are they going to go all the way to Battle World? I don't know.
I don't know. Curtis, what do you think, man? What the heck's going on here? What are they about to drop on us? There's something big that's about to happen, and they're leading up to it. And people have been complaining about the Phase 4's not good enough. It's slow. It's boring because we got the climactic. You've heard me go on this rant because we've got the climactic end game that blew everybody's faces off. But they're slowly building, and now there's mutants. There's Doctor Doom. There's some serious Kang business. What the hell is going on, man? What are we going to see here? Give it to it. Lay it on me, man.
First of all, I don't sound like that. When Phase 4 sucks, I don't sound like that at all. But like, I really think so. I'd seen an article saying that they talking about how they were thinking that they're going to go to Secret Wars with this, and so if you don't know, Secret Wars was the first big epic comic book crossover event. And it was basically, it exists because they're creating toys. Mattel, I think, went to Marvel and was like, we're going to create these toys, but we need a comic book kind of set up the story. And so they did. And like, that's why Secret Wars happened. They just took all the heroes and they put them on a planet and they fought. Now, I like that kind of makes Phase 4 make sense, because you're introducing all these new characters, and you've got the original characters, and we see what's going on with their lives and stuff like that. But like the lack of direction almost makes it perfect for Secret Wars, because bam, something happens, and now they're just on this planet and they got to fight it out. And like, that's what Secret Wars is. They got to fight. And then what's cool about it is some of the bad guys team up with some of the good guys. Some of the good guys team up with the bad guys. Like, they got to, just fight it out. And so it could be an awesome, event for the MCU. And at the same time, see what I'm thinking. The only thing is that Doctor Doom is a huge part of Secret Wars. So I can't imagine it's that far down the line. They've got to have some huge crossover event coming. I mean, they don't have to, of course, but we knew that there was Avengers, and then we knew that there was Age of Ultron. You knew that some crossover event was coming with the before pre-Endgame MCU. With this stuff, though, like we don't necessarily see that on the horizon. And Kang as the big bad right now, either he's going to replace Doctor Strange within that role, or he's going to be the big bad for way later, because they teased Thanos for a long time before he actually did anything. So Kang being at the end of Loki might actually be the big bad for way later, and the next crossover event is going to be Secret Wars. I do agree with Cameron, though. They need to roll out Doctor Doom slowly and do it right. I mean, how awesome would it be where they're having like a UN event, and then like they're like, for the first time ever, the leader of Latveria decided to show up to the UN, and he rolls up in some armor and stuff at the UN, and he's like, "What's up?" Like, it would just be amazing. But I think they're going the Secret Wars route now. It just makes it all make sense.
I'm excited. Excuse me. I'm excited to see Gore the God Butcher in this movie because he's a very much larger than life person, and I'm curious to see how it translates into live action because something like Doctor Doom, I feel like it's hard to do that without it looking corny. You know what I mean? Like Doctor Doom's awesome, like in cartoon form, but doing it live action and really making it menacing and not look like a robot wearing a Little Red Riding Hood cloak, it's like it's hard. I feel like it's hard to make that a real on-screen thing. What Curtis?
And you're right, it is. But if the guy plays whoever they pick, if he plays Doctor Doom correctly, who?
Cillian Murphy, Peaky Blinders.
Cillian Murphy? Is that who they're talking about doing? Or
that's just who I see in my mind, and I love it. Sorry, Kurt.
Oh, he's fantastic.
No, like if they pick the right guy, and they write it correct, like that's the thing with Doctor Doom. He could walk out there in a fucking tutu and flip flops and with a banana hat or something, and it's like, go ahead and make fun of him. Like he could be like, I think this is cool. I don't fucking care if anybody else thinks it's cool. Yeah. I think this is cool, and nobody's gonna be like, hey, that's stupid. Like, so everybody else could be like to themselves, like, can you believe this guy? And throughout the whole movie, like, what's going on here? Blah, blah. And then when it gets to it, they're like, oh, I love who made this cloak? Like, because you don't tell Doctor Doom he looks stupid.
And speaking of silly costumes, look at Kang. Come on, that's goofy as hell if you ask me. And but it does its thing in the comics. How are they going to translate that? I have all the faith in the world in their costume department. Look at Moon Knight. After that costume, if they just continue on that path, everything's going to be okay. Doctor Doom will look menacing. Yeah. They'll find a way.
Yeah, Zemo looks really cool. Like
when his mask on, he puts his mask on. Like if you look at the original Zemo, you're like, look at what the hell's going on there.
Oh, real quick, this just popped in my head. You're probably wondering why I didn't bring up the X-Men. We're talking about the future of the MCU. So about 2 weeks ago, I was working at this TV festival, and I was picking up the special guests from the airport and taking them to their hotel. And I happened to pick up a TV writer who'd done a lot of DC and some Marvel stuff. And I won't say their name, but obviously I was asking some questions. And she said that X-Men are 5 years out still.
Still, huh?
I
wonder if they just have to say that.
No, I don't think she was messing with me, but.
Well, I think so. Because they're bringing in the Four. They're not going to bring in the Fantastic Four and the X-Men at the same time. They want it to hit. So I believe that.
And honestly, 5 years now isn't that long. You know what I mean? Like if you look at like, dude, we're halfway through 2022. Like 2020, it's already been 2.5 years since the beginning of the apocalypse. You know what I mean? So it's like that's half of that time. And if you fill in the gaps with a bunch of movies, with some serious movies, I believe it.
But hey, they could announce an X-Men movie and make me look like a jackass. So we have no idea.
Well,
and they might be saying, they have this thing planned out for like a decade in advance. They just went and had another meeting where they sorted a whole bunch of stuff out and laid out the roadmap. So I mean, it's all, we all know it's all heavily planned, because we like to complain that DC doesn't do that, doesn't plan out their stuff.
Fly in the wall in that room.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It would be so much fun. It'd be like, what? They're doing what? It'd be super exciting. Super exciting. Well, speaking of MCU, boom. Miss Marvel is the best reviewed series in Disney Plus's MCU, and now just 1% shy of being the highest scoring show or movie outside of Black Panther. But early reports say that the viewership is significantly lower than any other Disney Plus series. Samba TV reports that 775,000 households watched Miss Marvel in its first 5 days, which compares unfavorable to all the other live-action shows, MCU shows. And I'm wondering, what is the reason for this? Like, why? I wonder. Is it because it's too kiddie? Is it because it's an unfamiliar character? I read this article and they were basically given a whole bunch of reasons about that. And, I watched it because I watch everything. If it's got an MCU logo on it, I'm going to watch the show. And it did have a different vibe. But, like, for me, just in general, I'm not the kind of guy to go pick up a Teen Titans comic book. You know what I mean? Like, I never picked up a Superboy comic book. I want to read Superman if I'm going to read a comic, What do you think, Curtis?
No, I think that's the thing, is that, and let's be honest, it's a Muslim superhero, so there are a bunch of assholes out there who be like, I'm just not watching it because of that. Okay, that exists. Like, I wish it wasn't true, but it is. But I don't think that's the main reason. I think literally, so a lot of it is that, to a degree, it's very age-based. It's meant for younger viewers. The comic was meant for, young girls. Like, in the show follows that example. It's still a good show, but, that's like the first thing is it's not going to grab everybody right away. The second thing is that it's, for those who are hardcore fans, it changes a lot of the character. Okay, the character has been changed almost completely. Besides, the alter ego dynamics of the character, the powers and all that stuff have been changed completely from the comics. So the hardcore fans get in there and they're like, "Well, what's this?" And then, like, it's and wondering where it fits too. Like, because if you're like, "Well, I'm gonna have to miss one of these, MCU shows," like, this it may not be, though. Like you were saying, I agree with you. I think it's going to have some ties to Love and Thunder coming up as well. But people not knowing that, being like, "Oh, this is a kiddie show," then this is going to be the one to miss. I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite show by any means. I don't know if it's necessarily the weakest, but it's not. Again, I'm not the core demographic. Like, you show this to your kids or some, it's ideally for young girls and stuff. They're going to dig the hell out of it. It's still a good show. It's just not their best.
Cameron, what do you think, man?
Yeah.
Because some people are like, this is my favorite MCU show so far. I've heard some people. I've heard some. John
You just said it's got one of the highest reviews.
Yeah.
Like,
and not everything is for everyone. So it's like, which is weird. But Cameron, what do you think, man?
Well, yeah, it's very demographic based. I think that has a lot to do with it. But where it's just not hitting for me is all the other MCU shows, like WandaVision. You had Catherine Hahn, an amazing character that pulled you in. Let's see, maybe the Winter Soldier didn't have one of those. The dynamic between those two was fun. And then you have Loki. Okay, an amazing character. He pulls you in. You had Owen Wilson. You had all these great actors that pulled you in. I'm just not getting that with this. Like Hawkeye had it with Haley Steinfeld. There's just no character in this show that's like, I have to watch. Like, I'm enjoying watching them, or I can't stop watching them. There's some good actors and good characters, but nothing that's like really stand out. And
that's a really good point.
That's where it's just not hitting for me. If there was a character that I could really get behind, and I'm not a fan of the Miss Marvel character right now. She's kind of annoying to me. She's the one causing all the problems. I mean, yeah.
You're not wrong.
But I do like. I think it's going to tie something into Love and Thunder. We've been seeing a lot of gods lately, and here comes the God Butcher. So I think Thor's going to tie a lot of what we've seen in these past, couple series tie together for sure.
Yeah, it's like don't worry, Kamala. Gore's coming. You don't have to worry about those genies too long. Like,
But I'm curious. I do want to know if you guys watched the episode. That hand, is that blue hand?
It's a Kree hand?
Is it a Kree hand?
Yeah, I think
or
so.
Or is it something from the Jinn?
I think it's a Kree hand. And the Jinn might be related to the Kree. It just where they just got translated into an American human history. You know what I mean? Like, because genies are blue. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's
and I
weird.
got a multiverse question. Maybe you guys can help me out with. Let's see here. There's multiverses, right? And all these different timelines. And where are they? Is it the Nord dimension? Is that what it was called?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, in each different universe, like 838 and 616, for example, do they each have their own Nord dimension inside that universe? Or is there just one Nord dimension?
I don't know how that works.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what's weird because that's the thing. In the comics, she's not. She's an Inhuman. She's not. They changed it so much. It's like so.
Forgetting that, anybody from a Nord dimension, was that one dimension or is that a whole bunch of dimensions?
That's what I mean. I don't know if it exists in the comics. That's I'm actually looking right now.
It's like Ta Lo. Another
example.
example. Would Ta Lo be in 838 and 616 and all the other multiverses?
Ta Lo
from Shang-Chi.
That's the
Shang-Chi.
So that exists, but they actually that exists, but it's not Shang-Chi. I'm pretty sure that was an Iron Fist.
Yeah, but
stole that from Iron Fist. But it exists in the comics, and it's
an alternate dimension. So would it be?
Right.
Is there only one place, or would every universe have that place?
Oh, who knows? Oh, that's. I mean,
what he's asking is, do alternate dimensions transcend multiverse, where there's only one, just like a what do they call it? I'm having a brain fart. When you're a being, a
nexus being.
There's one of you that exists in all of it. Are other dimensions like that, like nexus dimension that exists in all the places?
No, so they do repopulate, or however you want to say it, in multiverse dimensions. However, there are just like there are nexus beings that don't. They're the same in every universe and every version or whatever. But there are at the same time pocket dimensions and stuff like that are standalones that don't repopulate.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Question.
And I don't know if Nor is or is not. I would assume Tallow is, because since it crossed, dimensions and stuff like that. And there's like a part of that dimension within the comic sphere, our sphere.
There was something big in this episode, though, that does remind me now. It ties back to Shang-Chi, where they found that they're calling it a negaband for now. I don't know if it is. That the bracelet when they found it, it was in a tomb with the 10 Rings logo.
Yep.
And they said,
I didn't notice that. Oh wow.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. Okay, you got to watch the show for these little details, and it's kind of annoying. But when they said, what's his name, Wenwu, when he found his 10 rings, it was either in a cave or a tomb. And where they were looked kind of like either a cave or a tomb. Maybe maybe those two, maybe they're somehow connected. The 10 rings.
Maybe it was like the meeting place of the gods on Earth at that time, or something like that.
Somehow I think those are going to be connected too.
Oh, for sure.
I think so, and the energy looks the same too. So there's something's up. Like, we're gonna see some kind of connection with all this stuff. It's gonna be pretty exciting. I agree with your analysis of like hey, there's a compelling, usually a compelling character that really draws you in. In this show, honestly, I feel like the compelling people are her parents.
And
they're the most.
I agree.
Exactly.
It's like watching Kim's Convenience or something, where the where the characters are just so good that you like them. Like, have you ever seen Kim's Convenience? This Korean family, and the dad owns this convenience store, and the character, just like Malcolm in the Middle or something, the characters are so good. You just like the characters. You like her mom and you like her dad a lot.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
And then all the other shenanigans, I'm just kind of like, okay. It's some okay, some okay teenager with powers like Spider-Man. It's like watching a weak Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like when he was in high school and got his powers. It's kind of something akin to that to me. But yeah,
that's the thing too. Like they've talked about this actress, and she is doing a great job.
Yeah,
it's just the character that they've written for her, I don't really like that much. Like that, I don't. Like I am more interested in her parents and her brother, and like that's the stuff that they show culturally and stuff like that. Like that's the best part of the show so far, besides the tidbits. But and I'm not saying she's a bad actress or whatever. She's doing great, but like the way they wrote her kind of is not letting this actress shine as much. Like she's an actress. She's a young lady. She's obviously like a bright personality, and yet they're like, play the timid, like, oh well, I'm just nerdy, blah blah blah, and it's not working for her. Like you can tell she's a more bombastic actress, and she needs that role to shine. So maybe she will. Maybe that's the transition. I don't know.
I think this is the ride they're taking us on. And in a second, when it really counts, she's going to step up and deliver with the powers. Then it's probably just the slow burn. We saw it in Kenobi. He's like, oh, he's wounded and weak, and we got to go for a ride and let him. And then all of a sudden, at the end, when it counts, he comes in with the vengeance. That's probably what they're doing with her. I didn't mean to go Howard Dean on you again, but yeah. So
you can go Howard Dean on me anytime you want, baby.
I think another thing another reason this show is not hitting so well is as far as ratings go, is because there's so much TV. Like I can't keep up, man. Between the movies we're doing in these movie battles, like I got to watch 2 movies a week. Plus we got now we have Umbrella Academy. We get The Boys. We've got Obi-Wan on the same day as Miss Marvel. Like when you're gonna stay up late, you got to watch Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan. Which one are you gonna pick? Well, I'm gonna go with Obi-Wan first, and I'll watch Miss Marvel when I wake up the next day. Then if I'm running late, then I got to go to work and I'll catch it later. But there's just so many damn shows and so we're flooded with a bunch of, and they're all good. That's the other thing, you gotta watch them, and that's only superhero shows. I just binged Peaky Blinders. There's a bunch of cool documentaries out. It's like there's so much stuff on all channels. So what were you gonna say, Curtis?
No, I had watched Miss Marvel, and I was like, that was pretty good, and then I watched it, started watching it Wednesday night and finished it this morning, and I was like, that was pretty good. And then I was like, oh, it's Friday, the new Boys on. Watched the new Boys, and I was like, I don't remember anything about Miss Marvel. Like I don't know who Miss Marvel is. It was so good. The Boys was so good. I was like, we're done here.
That's why I have not watched The Boys yet, because I needed to be able to have a mind to speak with you guys today, because The Boys is so insane.
Have you watched none of it, or just today?
Just not the newest episode.
Okay, I haven't seen it either. Like, and I
no spoilers. It's fucking awesome.
Oh boy, yeah, I love that show. That show is so good. So many good shows. Gee whiz. Well, speaking of good shows, here's a good show for you. Boom. The Umbrella Academy. Have you slept since season 3 of The Umbrella Academy hit Netflix? Is the next topic. Boom. Have you? Man, I have only seen the first couple of episodes of The Umbrella Academy. Curtis, I know you haven't watched The Umbrella Academy. You need to go back. You are lucky, my friend. You have 3, just like The Boys, where you're like, holy crap, this is really good. You're going to have a great time watching this show. I'm really loving this show. I also take pride in knowing that a fellow early 2000s punk Warped Tour punk rock star, wrote this comic book, which led to this show. Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance is responsible for this story in this comic book, which the comic books are still out, so you can go find those at your local comic shop. But it makes me happy, and I've told this story before, but I once met Gerard. I was on tour with my own band, Riddling Kids, and our former sound guy of many years went on to work for All American Rejects, and then went on to work for My Chemical Romance. And one day we had a day off, and we realized they were playing in town. So we hit up Super Dave, our tour manager, and our old sound guy, and was like, "Hey, man, we're in town." He's like, "Dude, come on over. I'll get you on the guest list." We went to the show, watched the show. We had great seats. It was a fantastic show, huge show. And then afterwards, we went backstage and met everybody and hung out for a second. And when I met Gerard, he was in the dressing room. He's like, "Hey, dude, come meet Gerard. He's in here." And I go in the big dressing room, and the lights are off. And he's like, "Hey, check this out." And he goes, and he's got a lightsaber toy. One of the 200, and granted, this is the early 2000s, like probably 2005. And one of the ones that were like 100, 120, 150 bucks, lightsabers. And he was really stoked, and so was I. Like, I was like, "Dude, this guy's awesome." Usually, "Hey, man, you want to take a shot or whatever?" Like, no, dude, this guy's a straight up nerd, and he was super stoked on his lightsaber, and so was I, being the Star Wars lover that I am. And I was like, "Cool." So I very briefly, and he's like, "Here, check it out." And I got to and like, "Dude, that's awesome." And then shook hands with him, and it's like, "Hey, man, it's great to meet you. I got to roll." And I left. That was it. Just in. "Hello, how's it going? Check out my lightsaber." Cool. And I was out, and what a great way to meet somebody in a dressing room with a toy lightsaber. And I'm glad he's having all the success he's having with his comic and now TV show. And oh yeah, Umbrella Academy. I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying this season. This season started out with a bang. I thought I said, okay, well, we're gonna need some build up. No, straight out of the gate, it was just kicking ass and goodness. And Genesis Rodriguez, gotta love her. I'm happy anytime she's in anything. Cameron, what did you think of this Umbrella Academy?
I've been able to sleep a little, and it's only through great discipline because the show is amazing. I'm about 5 episodes in, and it's just fun. It is so fun. I want to go back to last week's topic a little bit. Not too much of a spoiler, because it's like right in the first episode at the very beginning. There was another musical dance sequence. And this one's, I actually enjoyed it. It was more fun. I still hated it in my superhero stuff. But the best part about it was that it was a dream sequence again. So hopefully if there's any more musical stuff and superhero stuff, they just keep it to the dream sequences so it's not real. But the show's fun. I think I was a little worried, like, man, are they going to make this some like woke culture BS with, Ellen Page, now Elliot Page? And I think the show handled it very well. It's just, hey, this is who I am. This is who I've been, always been. Call me Victor, and let's move on. And I think that was a great way to handle it. And the character growth works for her in real life. Hopefully people, and the trans community are happy about it, But the show itself is just so fun. The characters are so great. I'm an all-time fan of Klaus. He's probably one of my favorite characters of all time.
So good.
He's such a great character. And I think Gerard has an interesting relationship with confronting death. The Black Parade was such a great album that I think is really just him confronting death and, how someone can go through that. And Klaus is just a perfect embodiment of that character. And watching him, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a great show. And Klaus for life. Hello, goodbye.
Dude, Klaus is a fantastic character, man. I'm with you, dude. Like, I was worried about how it was going to go with Elliot Page in this, and the Vanya character, who's actually one of my favorite characters. You know what I mean? And I was surprised too in the beginning. I was like, oh, Elliot is just going to play Vanya, and even though Elliot is identifies as male, he's going to play this female character. I thought that was cool, and I actually kind of admired that. And it's like, like I was like, I think that's really cool. It's like, hey, this is a character I've been portraying. Why go changing or mess it up and make it all about me? This is about the production and the art, and I'm still an actor, so I'm going to act like Vanya. And I thought that was really interesting. And spoiler alert, they do transition Vanya into Victor. And it's great though. They make it make sense, and all of the other characters on the show are very supportive, and I thought it was really cool. And then they moved on, like you said, and there's plenty of goodness in this show, and I really love they introduced some really cool new characters. Again, I'm a fan of Genesis Rodriguez. She's in Tusk. I've seen her in a bunch of other random stuff. She reminds me of someone from my hometown, to be honest.
That's what it is. Okay.
There's something
The girl
about her.
next
There's
door
something,
from your hometown.
yeah, something about her. But like every character in this show is fantastic. Robert Sheenan plays Klaus. He's always good. Aidan Gallagher is number 5. He's
Great.
the old man in the little kid's body. You got Diego is always good. He has a person that shows up into his life. There's just a bunch of cool stuff. Anything from people with new powers to gleeking. Remember gleeking?
Yeah.
Gleeking's when you go.
Oh yeah.
That's what she does. I don't know if you guys remember gleeking. That's what they call that. But anyway, all the
and just real, I have the biggest crush on Lila. I don't know what it is, but if it's her British charm. But gosh, you're out there. If you're out there, Rita, I love you.
Lila, is that
Aria.
Diego's ex?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's really good. Everybody in this is good. That's what's so cool about this show. It's like the production level. I don't think it's as high dollar as a lot of shows, but it's got really good characters, and that's what it's all about. And so you don't necessarily need the biggest budget to create some cool stories and cool, and. Not every show can do Jupiter's Legacy. They didn't hit the mark. These guys are hitting the mark, and I like to bag on Jupiter's Legacy a lot. But yeah, that's another show. They didn't have the biggest, but actually they did spend a buttload of money. When I looked it up, they spent a ton of money. But anyway, I'm happy with how the Umbrella Academy season 3 is going so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes because I'm only 2 episodes in, and I think they are doing great. What were you gonna say, Curtis?
You're in for a ride.
Yeah, you look like you're about to say something.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say. So I haven't seen the show. I'll probably catch up with it here soon. But I'm wondering. So of our fans that are in the trans community, or anybody out there that's watching this in the trans community, like, let us know, like, how would you have felt if they had kept Elliot as the female character? Would that be bothersome to you? I just want to understand, like would that be
That's interesting.
bad? How would you feel about that? Like, I don't know if it would have bothered me, but however, I'm not in your shoes. How would you feel about that? Like, would you understand, like, okay, this is the character, we can't change it now, you've already done it? Or would you be like, no, they've transitioned, like, they need to move on and change the character as well? And that's the thing. I have not read the comic book, but the movie or shows are always a little bit more fluid than the source material. So, like, let me know, or let us know, like, did they do it well? And how would you feel if they hadn't done it that way? If they'd gone the other way and been like, no, you're a girl, you need to stay a girl. Like, let us know how you feel about that. And
if you thought that whole thing was distracting and you weren't quite a fan of it, we don't want any hateful transphobes messaging us. But if you thought, like me in the beginning, I was really kind of like, I was kind of I'll say I was impressed. Because I was like, wow, Elliot Page is just playing Vanya. Okay, cool. And I was like, I admire that move because again, like, you might have some people that are like, me, it's all about me, and and I'm not saying that's what happened in real life, but I'm just saying there's people that like that think the world revolves around them, and like I've made this choice, and you need to change your story to match my choice. I think that's a selfish move if you demand it. You know, if the writers come up and say, "Hey, we're going to do this for this character for you," that's a whole nother thing. And I'm not, but for me, I was like, wow, that's really cool, because you know, if you figure out who you really are and you make those choices, that's up to you, because it's your life. You need to live your best life and do what's right for you. But professionally, you know, that can be a different thing, and especially when you're in the business of telling stories. So it's an interesting conundrum. It's actually difficult to talk about without like from a YouTube standpoint, without stepping on a grenade and saying the wrong thing accidentally or whatever, you know. But I'm glad Elliot Page is doing what they're doing and doing a fine job. That's might be my favorite character on the show. There's a part in this show where Elliot challenges somebody and basically flexes on him and is like, and for good reason. Vanya like ended the world twice, so it's like okay, do you really want to do this? And kind of basically, you know, says, hey, you know, you really want to mess with me? And I thought that was awesome. But anyway, it's a great show, you guys. If you haven't seen Umbrella Academy, go back, watch it. Super good show, and apparently it just keeps getting better. So
and also, I just realized it's written by Jeremy Slater, the same guy who wrote Moon Knight. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Here we go. Air horn for the Umbrella factoid of the day horn. Yeah. Now we need new factoids for every episode of Umbrella. No, I didn't know that. The guy who wrote Moon Knight wrote this too. That makes total sense, because it's a well written show. Cool. Well, I can't wait to see the rest of the season. I'm only two, maybe 3 episodes in. And I had to stop to watch Bohemian Rhapsody again, so which we'll be talking about later tonight when we talk about the Elvis movie on Versus. So be sure to tune in at 8 o'clock for that. But up next, we got 2 more topics, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Have this. Obi-Wan Kenobi has completed its 6-episode run on Disney+. I really hope we do another, McGregor told British GQ before the finale aired. If I could do one of these every now and again, I'd be just happy about it. Of course you would, man. They're paying you the big bucks. Who doesn't want to go back and be Obi-Wan Kenobi? When asked about this, Kathleen Kennedy basically said, I gotta change my screen here. She basically said, well, we only planned on doing 6. This is supposed to be a limited series, but you know, we do listen to the fans. So if the fans speak loud enough, maybe, well, who knows what could happen. That's basically saying if we're getting the ratings, we're going to do whatever we're going to do to keep getting those ratings.
Well, yeah.
And when they asked Hayden Christensen said, yeah, I'd like to do that. Because, again, who doesn't want to get work? Who doesn't want to work? And also, you're getting the love and adoration of all these people and the attention from the world, because everybody loves Star Wars. What do you guys think? Do you think they should do more Obi-Wan stuff? Do you think, hey, man, you walked through that, you shook the snow globe, let it settle, and let's move on to other things? What do you guys think, man? Personally, I don't know if it makes sense for Obi-Wan to be going off on adventures all the time, but if you just saw the finale, he did just say, hey, I'm going to let Uncle Ben, I'm going to let you guys be the parents, and I'm going to back off a little bit and let him be a boy. So maybe that means, hey, I've got a little freedom to go fly off and get into trouble a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think? Cameron, what do you think, dude?
Mixed feelings.
For one, do you want it? For 2, do you think it'll happen?
For 1, do I want it? That's the tough part, because that finale, man, it made me such a big Star Wars fan again. That was a great finale. And the way they ended it, it made me want more. But do we need more? You know, do we need to mess with the canon even more? But Disney's gonna make their dollars, so I think we're gonna get another one. But I don't think it should happen. Honestly, I think it kind of taint what just happened. That finale, it almost redeemed the prequels for me. When Obi-Wan says, "I will do what I must," I lost it, dude. And they started sword fighting. I had to rewatch that scene. I rewound it immediately because I was so into it. So I don't know. I don't think they could top that. I don't think they should make another one, but they're probably going to make another one.
You know what I loved about that scene? Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the finale for Kenobi, get the hell out of here. Spoiler alert, what I really liked about that fight scene, too, is I like how Anakin, after he got his pee-pee slapped and got chopped down a little a notch, and he's got half of his helmet off, he kind of let Obi-Wan off the hook. It was almost a compassionate thing when he tells Obi-Wan, I did this to myself.
Yeah.
He told him, I did this to myself. And it's like he let him, it's one, he's upset, he accepts who he is, and he's screwed up because he's looking at him like, what have you become? And he's like, I did this to myself. But I don't think it was like telling him like, you didn't make me this way, I did. Like, I think he was letting him off the hook because he could see the pain in Obi-Wan's face, and which that's a piece of guilt that's been looming over Obi-Wan for 10 years. He's felt guilty that he didn't raise him right and let it happen right under his nose, and then he had to chop him down and leave him in Mustafar in a bunch of lava, and now he's chopped up. But then also, I've always heard for years about how Obi-Wan is supposed to be a super badass, and like you get little tastes like, whoop, he really quickly chops Darth Maul in half and then disappears, but you don't really get to see him do much. And this is what I am loving about the new Star Wars stuff. Same with Darth Vader. You always hear, you feel the fear because of the music and the way they portray Darth Vader, but you never saw any of the terrible things that he did. Now we're seeing him drag people through the streets, breaking their necks. We see him at the beginning of Rogue One, like just terrorizing people. They're running for their lives, and he's flinging people across, effortlessly just slaying everyone. And we're seeing that. Now we got to see the other side of it. You got to see a super badass Jedi doing some super badass Jedi stuff, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, I would love to see some more. If we get to see Obi-Wan like that, that's what we always hope Jedis were going to look like on screen. We've seen a lot of crybaby Jedis that are always, oh, he's too powerful, he's blah blah blah. They can do, okay, they can deflect blaster fire and do some semi-important. All right, we got some Jedi speed real quick. You got a couple of things, but we never see them be badasses. We got a tiny little taste of Obi-Wan being a badass, and that's what I want to see. I want to see some more of that. And I don't care if it's Obi-Wan or if we go to Old Republic and we see some super badass action like that, but please, we have the technology now. We are not limited because we're in the 70s and 80s. We are in the future. We're living in the future. I want to see badass Jedi stuff. We have the tech. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Get rid of the politics that's keeping people from doing things in the like, let's see some badass fighting, because that was super cool. Just the tastes that we're getting have been amazing. Curtis, what do you think about that?
So, okay. Like this series, this series is so confusing for me because like it started the strongest of all the series and then ended kind of mediocre. Not the ending, but like overall the series was kind of mediocre in my opinion. I will say, like, you know, it did get badass whenever he was finally thrown down with Vader, but at the same time I thought it was so stupid that he basically had Vader beat and walked away. Again, Obi-Wan, again, you leave someone that, the first time it's Anakin, you think he's going to die, he's going to get swallowed up by lava, and you don't, it's Anakin, he could still redeem himself or whatever the hell you want to think. This time you know he's a murderous, like, genocidal maniac. Kill him. Okay, it's just that, to me, that was just stupid. So they should have ended it in a standoff or to where Obi-Wan got kind of beat, but Vader was hurt, but like you could still be like Vader. They left it to where basically Vader, or I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, but like it really pissed me off because it's just being stupid. Okay, but other than that, like it ended up being a good final episode, a very good final episode. The series overall, in my opinion, was kind of mediocre. There were certain parts that were just balls out awesome. Like I mean, like I literally was like laying in my bed, like going, "Oh yes!" Like just so excited for some scenes. But other scenes and a lot of it was kind of, I'm watching a show. Do they need another one? No, they don't need another one. Will there be another one? I don't, like maybe, but honestly, you made a good point, Clint. They should make another one, but it shouldn't be Obi-Wan. It should be Vader, and Vader's continuous hunt for Obi-Wan. Ooh. And Obi-Wan is the side character that keeps popping in and out, and he finds him every now and again because he's doing these little. We don't need to see him fucking jumping around the desert and doing this stuff. But Vader, because it ended with Palpatine saying, "You need to let Obi-Wan go." They should make the next one not be Obi-Wan. It should be Vader, and I know I should let Obi-Wan go. I know I should, but he can't, and he's continuously hunting him. And he pops in and out, and we have some more good fight scenes. But the rest of the time, he's just wrecking some shop and, being Vader and, showing some humanity here and there and showing those tidbits. But, I mean, that should be the next, they should be a companion series.
Damn, that's a good idea. I would watch that.
Yeah.
I don't want another Obi-Wan series, but damn, do I want a Darth Vader series. Yeah. Right? Absolutely.
Well, the thing about the Sith, though, it's like the Sith guys, he will say, "Yes, of course, Master," but he's like, their agenda, their personal agenda is most important to them. Mm-hmm. So he's liable to cut down the Emperor for his own agenda. That's the way those Sith guys operate. They're so eaten up with whatever's doing that to them that there's plenty of other Sith in the past that would have just of course, and then cut him in half, yep. and then say, "I decide what's important." You know what I mean? That's how they roll. One thing I was going to say, you're like, "Oh, he just left him there." That's what I was saying. Yeah. He just let him off the hook. It's like he got a taste of it. He just got a taste of
genocidal maniac.
He just got a taste of his friend for just a second. And he just left it. He's like, I'm not going to kill him. I can't kill him. He's a good guy.
Well, you know what? When Old Yeller got rabies, they still put him down. Fucking kill Vader.
I didn't say he didn't deserve it. I'm just saying. Obi-Wan's a hero. He's not going to go killing necessarily.
Well, he even looked at, to Curtis's point, he looked at Anakin and said, "Then my friend is truly dead. So kill him. He's already dead.
That robot body.
But he saw his real eye. He looked him in the real eye that was exposed, and it was like, shit. That's my basically.
I get it, but I still agree with Curtis. That is just.
I know what you're going for, but
almost my stepson or my little brother. I can't. You can't do that. So I mean,
then he should have been like, "Rain fire," and had missiles kill him.
Well, this was the disease that plagued the entire series, was not knowing how to kill the person you're supposed to kill. The Grand Inquisitor gets stabbed in the stomach by Reva. She just walks away and didn't just behead him. That's all you got to do. Then Reva attacks Darth Vader, and then Darth Vader stabs her and doesn't chop her in half, and then she survives and moves on. It's like if everyone just cut everybody in half, they would still survive, because look at Darth Maul. But still, that's the one ridiculous thing about this show is that them not killing people. It's like you got to do it right.
So many open doors.
Yeah.
Too many loose ends, man. Too many loose ends.
And there was things, everybody talks about the fire. Why didn't he just force drag that robot through the fire? And then there's also the ship. He gets distracted, pulls the ship down, which was badass, rips it open. rips it open, and then the other ship takes off. Why didn't he just pull that ship in? Well, they needed to be able to explain the last time I was the Padawan, now I'm the master. He was still the Padawan, and they showed the lesson where he says you're too determined and too impulsive, and I just pulled that lightsaber out of your hand because you're too distracted. That was just another version of pulling the lightsaber out of his hand, was that ship thing. And then when he got away, he's remembering that memory too, and he's like, "Damn it, I'm still the Padawan, even though I can kill most people." That was the story they were trying to tell. And then, but you get me, and it's like, and I'm like, dude, he could have totally pulled that ship down. Yeah. And then I had our friend Dustin from Riddling Kids, messaged me and was like, total bullshit. I'm like, what, dude? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They let him get away. And I go, what do you mean they let him get away? And I thought he was talking about some of the other times that Obi-Wan gets away in this. Where, like,
you mean every other episode?
Yeah, no,
every single episode.
But he was talking about the destroyer that's in space, hovering over the planet. After he defeated Darth Vader and takes off, he's like, the Grand Inquisitor and that destroyer would have just killed his ass. And I go, I didn't even think about that. He's in a destroyer.
I didn't think about that either.
Just waiting up there. As soon as he's left the planet, they would have detected him and just killed his ass. And I said, well, maybe he flew around to the other side of the planet. He's like, I'm calling bullshit. So, it was pretty funny. And and I'm like, dude, you gotta let it go a little bit and enjoy the movie, Like
Derek said last week,
enough.
it's a space fantasy, and I'm not a picky Star Wars fan. I'm there. I watch to have fun. I mean,
exactly. I'm looking for those moments, like when
you got Hitler there, dude, and you could kill Hitler, and then you're like, you know what? He was my friend. He used to be my friend, and it's like, no, dude, pull the trigger.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Clint.
Do it. No, you're absolutely right. It's fun, and these are the arguments that everybody's having around the lunchroom tables in every high school in America, and people are having in bars all over the country and everywhere else. People are like, "What the hell was that?" But you know what? It was fun, and we're still talking about it.
Good.
So they must have done a good job. Nothing's going to be perfect. Well, not much. Rogue One was pretty close, but. As long as we're having fun, I would like them to do another Obi-Wan. If they keep up that fighting stuff, let's see some of that.
Great sword fighting or lightsaber battle.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, speaking of fighting, this is the last topic for the day, and then I got to bail because I got to run over to a small screen, and we've been on since 3:30, so we're making average time here. This one will be a quick topic. Boom. Yes, it was Kit Harington who brought the idea to us. I cannot tell you the names of the writers or showrunners since that has not been cleared for release yet, but Kit brought them to his own team, and they were terrific. Snow has been in development almost as long as the other three, but for whatever reason, it was never announced and it never leaked until now, Martin wrote. This is talking about that new the Snow series that we were talking about the other day. Apparently, they've been working on this for a while, and Kit Harington, much like Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor wanting to do another Kenobi, Kit Harington was like, "Hey, man, those Marvel checks aren't coming in yet. I maybe want to start working on some Game of Thrones," and so he brought together a team, and it made me wonder. What team is he working on? You know what I mean? Like, who did he... Now, granted, it's possible. It's Kit Harington. He's an A-list guy. It's possible anybody showed up and said, hey, man, I wrote this idea. I have this concept. We should work on it and present that to him. And like, oh, that's cool. It's like, yeah, I see this for you, and this could be cool. Somebody could have just brought him a concept. But it's also possible that maybe some of the people that he worked with on the Eternals maybe are going to be involved in this. And I'm like, dude, Chloe Zhao filming a Game of Thrones-esque show? That would be super cool. And not only that, Let's see. You got Chloe Zhao, and then also you got the writers of the Eternals, Ryan Firpo and Kaz Firpo. If you look at his IMDb and you try and say, hey, well, what has he been doing since Game of Thrones? There's not that much. It's just the Eternals. So my question is, do we think we're going to see the original writers, David Benioff and D.B. Wise from Game of Thrones involved in this? Or are we going to get the people that were involved in the Eternals? Or are we just going to get some randos? Again, this guy's A-list. He goes to all the Hollywood parties, I'm sure, and has, plenty of people contacting him. And mainly, I'm wondering, does anybody even care? Are you guys excited? Are you Game of Thrones fans? Do you want to see a Jon Snow show? Like, what's up? Where are you guys coming from? We'll start with Curtis. What do you think, man? Were you a Game of Thrones fan?
So I haven't finished it yet, but I will say that after Drago, what's the name of
Ivan Drago?
Ivan Drago, yeah. Once Ivan Drago bit the dust.
Khal Drago.
Oh, well, the big difference. I said Drago. You said Ivan. But once he bit the dust, Jon Snow is probably my favorite character. I'm excited to see this. However, from what you just said, like, if it's these Eternal people, I don't want to see anything more Eternals. Like, it's just not a good film. This is my opinion. This is I don't want to see that. Like, they might pull it off and it may be spectacular. I will see it, but it'll probably be like 3 years later. Like, I'm not going to be rushing to beating down my door to watch something made by the same people. Like, one of them, okay. Like, but if you got the whole team again, like, it didn't work. So I'll probably still check it out. But yeah, if it ends up being that, it's not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, and this is my speculation. You know what I mean? Anyone in Hollywood could be approaching Kit Harington and saying that, hey, man, I got this idea. But just for me, when I read this, he's like, oh, yeah, he brought his own team. To me, that says somebody that you're comfortable working with. You know what I mean? So, and they just didn't want to announce who that was yet. So I'm saying, okay, he's got a team. Let's go to IMDb and see who he's worked with lately. There's not a lot of people listed, so it's interesting. What about you, Cameron? Go ahead, Curse.
No, if he's going to pick the best team, then he should just pick the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm just saying.
Oh, come on.
Well, how do I feel about it? Oh, I don't have any good, reliable feelings on this one. I never watched Game of Thrones. I'll just agree with Curtis. Eternals, I liked it the first time I saw it, but after I rewatched it, I wasn't as much of a fan of it. And Chloe Zhao, I guess she's a great director. She got an Oscar or whatever, but I'm not a fan. I'm not sold on her yet completely. So we'll see. Maybe. Hey,
we will see. And that's the thing. When you have content, movies, TV shows coming down the pike, we'll always see. We got so much good stuff that's just coming. You look at the schedule for Marvel and DC, and now you've got Game of Thrones trying to expand, which makes sense, man. You got these IPs, you're gonna expand. I was talking about it last week. If I can see Arya Stark doing some badass assassin stuff, a little assassin this tall kicking everybody's ass with face disguises, and then Jon Snow, definitely one of the best characters on Game of Thrones. There's a lot of room for stuff, and then again, Targaryens and dragons. I'm in. Like, give it to me. So that's like. And then also all the back lore. Like, you got so much stuff. There's so many books and so much lore that we didn't get to see in the Game of Thrones series. They didn't expand on a lot of things. So now there's a chance to do that. And they've got... and some of these shows, I read about a whole bunch. There are 1,000 ships, and there's different things, and some of them have gotten canceled, and the ideas, like, they just shut down the project. I don't know what even is coming out. I know we got dragons, and I know we got Jon Snow. I'm excited. I used to race home from work to see Game of Thrones every week when it was Sunday. I was hauling ass to get home and turn on the TV. So I can't wait. And as these develop, we're going to bring you more information. Curtis, you look like you're about to say something.
No, I was just gonna say now that HBO or WB owns Game of Thrones and Legendary or Godzilla, they need to have just one scene in Dragons, one scene, just a throwaway scene where they pass over this giant shadow, and they're like, blah blah blah, and they're like, "That's the one we do not wake." Like, and it's fucking Godzilla. He doesn't have a name, but he is the one we do not wake. And it's like you can just see from the outline it's Godzilla. Like, and then, like everybody be like, "Yeah,
yes, Godzilla." Well, hell yeah, man. Well, that wraps it up. Holy crap, we got a that's the wraps it up horn. Oh boy. Guys, I really appreciate you tuning in every Friday. We're going to be here every Friday giving you all the latest stuff. Apologize for the technical difficulties, but I think I got it sorted out now. So next week, we're going to look so legit.
We're going to be smoother and smoother, man. Smoother and smoother.
So pro. All right. Well, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get notified. And we're going to see you guys soon. So this is the gang.
What?
I almost took Curtis, or I'll do this one. This is the gang. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks a bunch for watching. Come over to small screen.
Unfortunately, I have to go see my mom next week.